citizenship and his status and his, like I said, his position he held, he was considered a Gentile. So, and the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of the Most High. Go ahead.
And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem,
so Peter had to go back from Joppa and head on up to Jerusalem to give a report to the apostles of what took place. Go ahead.
They that were of the circumcision contended with him.
Yeah, he said, hold on. The people that were of the circumcision, talking about the devout Israelites that never left Israel, they contended. They was, what are you doing, Peter? Now I must prove to you who it's talking about. It's talking about other Israelites. Let's go to John, St. John. Chapter 7, verses 33 through 35. St. John, chapter 7, verses 33 through 35. Go ahead.
John chapter 7, verse 33. Then said Jesus unto them, Yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. You shall seek me, and shall not find me.
Now this is Jesus Christ, or Yahweh Shah, speaking to the Jews. This is when Christ was alive. We went back to St. John chapter 7. But we're using this to illustrate that even while Christ walked the earth, there were Israelites of Israel, in Israel, geographically, who never departed, who considered all other Israelites that were living in other lands, even if they did come back to the feast. But by virtue of being born in other lands, you know what I mean? Whether they came back to the feast or not, especially the ones that completely assimilated, the Israelites in Judea refer to the other Israelites as Gentiles. Read it from the top again.
Verse 33. Then said Jesus unto them, Yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. You shall seek me, and shall not find me.
No, he's telling them, Christ is making reference to the fact that he was going to eventually have to die, come back, show himself to have resurrected, and then ascend and be gone for good into the spiritual realm with his Father. So this is what he's making reference to. Ye shall seek me, go ahead.
And shall not find me.
Go ahead.
And where I am, thither you cannot come.
And where I'm going to be at, there you ain't going to be able to get to. Go ahead.
Then said the Jews among themselves.
Now listen to this. Then said the Jews among themselves. And they were talking to one another, trying to figure out what it was Christ was speaking about.
Whither will he go that we shall not find him?
Where is he going to go that we can't find him?
Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles?
Will he go to the dispersed among the Gentiles?
And teach the Gentiles?
And teach the Gentiles, in other words, and teach them? Because the Israelites, the Jews in Judea, refer to all of the Israelites living abroad as Gentiles. And so Christ was making a reference to him, like I said, having to die, resurrecting, manifesting himself among the chosen few, and then ascending. And they thought, they were under the impression that he was speaking to go into some other land, and that he would go to the other countries and teach the Israelites that were scattered there. Now, read that last verse again, verse 35.
Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed?
Unto the dispersed. The term dispersed means the scattered. Go ahead.
Among the Gentiles.
Will he go to the dispersed that are living among the Gentiles? Go ahead.
And teach the Gentiles.
And teach them. And teach the Gentiles. And teach them. No, that's what they thought. But the point is, that verse perfectly illustrates that what? That the children of Israel were scattered all abroad, and those in Jerusalem considered the rest of Israelites, considered those outside of the borders of Israel Gentiles. Matter of fact, let's go to you in the book of Acts. I'm sorry, John, right?
Yeah. I
want to go to chapter 11 now. This is going to be, it's not going to be all, but it's still going to show you that that Israelites were scattered. All right, we're going to go to John chapter 11, and you're going to start. Hold on. Yes, you're going to start at verse 45. This is after Yahushua, Jesus Christ, had resurrected Lazarus from the dead. So a report got back about this miracle that Christ performed to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the scribes, the people that were in charge, or the governors of Israel during the time of Christ. But watch what's spoken of. Start at verse 45, and you're going to read. You're going to read from verse 45 to verse 52. Go ahead. This is bad.
John chapter 11, verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things that Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them that what things Jesus had done.
In other words, this specific miracle is talking about Christ had just raised a man from the dead. Go ahead.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, What do we?
Yeah, what are we going to do? Continue.
For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
In other words, they were afraid of losing their position. They said, we let this thing continue, everybody going to believe on this dude. Go ahead.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Go ahead.
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all.
Caiaphas was the high priest during the time that Christ walked the earth, and during Christ's crucifixion, it was Caiaphas that was one of those that was in charge of turning him over to the Roman, to Pontius Pilate, and inciting the people to choose Barabbas over Christ and to kill or crucify Christ. So this guy, being the high priest, is telling them, he says, listen, he said unto them, Ye know nothing at all. He's talking to the other group, or the group of Pharisees and scribes and Sadducees that was in his presence. Go ahead.
Nor consider that it's expedient for us.
It's expedient, meaning it's beneficial to us. Go ahead.
That one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
It shows you Christ only came on behalf of that nation. That one man perish or die for the whole people, so that the whole nation perish not. Go ahead.
And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation.
That Christ should die for the world?
That nation.
That Christ should die for what?
That nation.
For that nation. Go ahead.
Verse 52. And not for that nation only.
Listen, and not for that nation only. Go ahead.
But that also he should gather together in one.
Listen, that Christ's death will be used to gather together in one. Go ahead.
The children of God that were scattered abroad.
The children of God that were scattered abroad. That's what it means when it says to the Jew first and then to the Greek. In other words, those Israelites that were still in Jerusalem, and those Israelites who were scattered throughout the Greek provinces and had become to be known as Greeks. Or another verse will say to the Jew first and to the Gentile. The Gentile is a general term that means to the peoples. In other words, it's talking about Israelite foreigners. Or, like it said in the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 10, strangers. Now we're going to get a couple other verses on that. Alright? Let's go from there. Make it up. Let's go from there to let's go to James 1:1. Does James come before Peter, right? Yeah. Gonna go to the book of James, which is after the book of Hebrews. This is bad, man. And watch who the book of James, which is one of the apostles, who he addresses this verse to.
Okay, James chapter 1, verse
James chapter 1, verse 1.
James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
Go ahead.
Greeting.
To the 12, now this is his book, the Epistle of James. This is his letter to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. This is the New Testament, mind you. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Go ahead.
My brethren.
Now what does he refer to them as?
Brethren.
My brethren. Go ahead.
Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation.
Then he goes into what it is, his message.